iSatori MorphX5 Pre Workout review. This is Dave with Mission to Muscle. What's up, guys? Back with another pre-workout review. I'm in the middle of a back day, so I'm kind of jumping in and taking a little rest. I just did about 90 pull-ups. If you guys follow my channel, that's pretty much how my pull day goes. It's 90 pull-ups to start off with. I do different grips, and I follow with some rear delt pulls on the cables. Love the cables. I don't do dumbbell raises that often, like lateral dumbbell raises and stuff like that, because I get more tension, you know, provided with the concentric and eccentric portion of the movement, and I've noticed better gains that way. So, you know, if you guys are doing dumbbell lateral raises, you might want to throw in some cable lateral raises if you want to get those shoulders are growing, if they're having trouble growing. But if they're working with what you're doing, don't change a damn thing. So we'll get right into the ingredient profile here. We got a strength muscle endurance matrix or complex. That consists of beta-alanine at 3.2 grams. That's for the more reps, more sets in the gym, the power output, less fatigue, lactic acid buffering, metabolites out of the muscles. Then we have magnesium creatine chitlate, which is creatine magna power at 2.5 grams. Now, by no means is this to supplement your creatine intake for the day. So you still need to get, if you take this, at least 3 grams to 5 grams of creatine. Just want to get that out of the way. Now, this is a special form of creatine. So the magnesium chitlate that's bonded to the creatine is designed to actually force or transport the creatine into the muscle cells a lot quicker than like creatine mono. So it's supposed to, during a workout, provide power output, ATP production during your training. Then we have betaine anhydrous at 1.5 grams. That's decent. And we like to see that 1.5 to 2.5. 2.5 is the efficacious dosage, but 1.5 in this complex is going to provide cell hydration. It's good for the liver, it's good for the heart, it's good for the brain, it's good for the body in general. It's a very good ingredient. And in this complex here, they're designing at 1.5 grams, I believe, to protect the mitochondria. So betaine anhydrous does a lot of protection for strengthening the mitochondria. So it's going to help with, you know, that power output that's being produced by the ATP and the power output that you're generating from the more reps from the betaine anhydrous. So that's why they call this a strength, muscle, and endurance complex. Then we have a max pump plasma expansion matrix. I like that, actually. Plasma expansion matrix. This just sounds cool. We got citrulline malate. They don't say if it's 2 to 1, 1 to 1, but it's 6 grams. Either way, you're going to get 3 to 4 grams of citrulline, which can give you that vasodilation that pumps. And you got the malic acid, which is going to help with more reps and more sets and endurance in the gym. These two coupled together just provide really good strength benefits when you're thrown into a pre-workout. Then we have nitrogen at 1 gram, and that's a decent dose. So you like to see that, if you're looking at pre-workouts, you want to see that between 1 and 1.5 grams. This is a very, very nice vasodilation ingredient for nitric oxide in the body. And it actually lasts between 5 to 6 hours after taking it. So it really does the job as far as, you know, dilating those blood vessels and keeping that pump going for a long training session. Then we have the core energy focus and cognition matrix. That's taurine at 2 grams. Now taurine is an osmonite, so it helps with cell hydration, kind of like betaine anhydrous. So it'll keep those muscles hydrated for longer workouts. It also has a lot of benefits for the heart, the brain. At 2 grams, it's going to help with with blood flow for sure. So it's going to couple with the pump matrix. So you're going to get a little bit of vasodilation, blood flow effects, which is going to kind of in turn give you more energy, you know, cognitive function, because you're dilating the body with more oxygen and blood running to the muscles and throughout the body. Then we have choline bitartrate at 500 milligrams. Not bad. So that's a choline source. It's supposed to activate choline in the body. It's a kind of an inexpensive choline source, but it does the job. But for not only cognitive function, at 500 milligrams, not going to be much, but it does help with cognitive function, and it does actually supply some energy, choline bitartrate, compared to the other choline sources there. Then we have caffeine anhydrous at 350 milligrams. So that's not a low dose. So if you do not have a high tolerance for caffeine and you're used to taking pre-workout pre-workouts with 200 milligrams in it. As far as this pre-workout, you want to start slow. So you either want to half scoop it or 3/4 scoop it. And you want to work your way up to that tolerance. Because 350, I have a high tolerance for caffeine, and stim junkie type pre-workouts. So I can handle most of the time something like that. But someone who's not used to it, you do really I want to just make that clear, you do want to really be careful, because that's not a light dose of caffeine. Then we have an extended energy blend. Now this is a blend that's only 130 milligrams. And it's got a few ingredients in here for energy. You got glucuronolactone, which is found in energy drinks, and it helps supply a little bit of energy throughout the body. Then you have theacrine, which is tea cream, and that's an energy source as well. And these two energy sources don't mess with your central nervous system, so it's not something that actually is going to act like caffeine to where you're going to build up a tolerance to them. So it's kind of nice to have them in there. We just don't know how much is in there. But then it's got some herbs in here. I got ashwagandha, the KM-S66, which I love. It's for cortisol. It's got cordyceps for VO2 max to actually provide energy, more oxygen into the muscles. And it's got L-tyrosine for energy and a little bit of cognitive function. Holy basil is actually a health ingredient, but it does help with fatigue. And then you have reishi mushroom, which is another kind of a fatigue, especially at the low dose here. There are other benefits for these herbs, but at higher dosages. So I believe what they're doing here is they've made like a fatigue, energy, and focus kind of little complex. It's healthy at the end of the label here. So iSatori MorphX5, how did it do? What can you expect if you take this? So the minute you take this, you're about 10 minutes in, you're gonna feel the beta alanine come in. We'll get this out of the way real quick. Beta alanine comes in, it picks up in about 15 minutes, and that's pretty much where you're gonna be with the pins and needles, the itching and the scratching. It's not overly extreme, but it's up there. And it's a very good source of beta alanine. So it kicks, and it lasts for a good, I'd say 40 minutes on that upper level, and then dials down 50, 60 minutes, dials down to pretty much where you are left with, just your training as far as, and just the benefits of the beta alanine. Energy on this thing. Energy is very, very smooth. Now, the thing is this is not like a smack you out of your seat, get you off the couch, and get you running. You kind of have to prepare. You got to get your stuff ready. You got to take this, do your things, get dressed, start moving, and energy kicks in because it's only a caffeine source and these natural sources of energy here. Caffeine and the energy starts to kick in within like 35, just a tad bit, on up to 45 to 50 minutes. It's 50 minutes to an hour is when it kind of like peaks in. 350 milligrams is no joke if you're not used to 350 milligrams. So depending on how used to caffeine you are, is going to depend on how it actually hits you. For me, it kind of just smoothly comes into a peak, and I'm in here training at 45 minutes, so it just as I'm warming up, I'm starting to feel that energy, and then I'm ready to go after my warm-up. So very, very good, and it lasts for a good 2 hours. You can get a good 2 hours of training off of this as far as energy-wise. And when you come off of this, one thing I love about this pre-workout, or I like about this pre-workout, is there is no dicaffeine malate, there is no theanine, L-theanine in here, and it dials down really good. So this little like energy complex here, there's no crash, whatever, that extended energy blend actually does work. And it dials you down, I'd like to say, if you train for 2 hours, or 2 hours after it kicks in, that third hour is pretty much when it dials down. So you dial down into just your normal energy source. So there's nothing that sticks with you for hours in a day. So it's a perfect evening type pre-workout. Focus is, it's not a tunnel vision focus, but the focus is enough to kind of dial you into the training and really focus on the weights, because it's not that it's very heavily sourced with nootropics, but the caffeine at 350 milligrams with the taurine, the betaine, it just kind of all seems to come together to where you've got like a nice little dialed in focused, not overly. So like if you're looking for something that's going to give you tunnel vision or live in a bubble in the gym, this is not going to be the pre-workout for you. But if you're looking for something that's going to dial you in along with the caffeine, just kind of give you that extra edge when you have that energy to kind of like focus in a little bit onto your training and be kind of dialed into your training a little bit, and not super extreme, like I said, being honest with you guys, but dialed in enough to push you through 2 hours of training without kind of like that cognitive, you know, craziness going on. This it delivers that very, very nice. The star of the show on this, in my opinion, is because I love to feel swole, and the pumps on this thing really deliver. I mean, you could throw a pump formula on this, but with the way this is set up with the osmolytes and the arginine sources here, even though there's like not a lot in here, it really delivers a very good tightness of a pump and vasodilation along with some cell swelling. All in all, this is not a bad pre-workout for like an all-in-one delivery type pre-workout. I got to give it to them. They did a very good job on this supplement here. I do recommend this for somebody that's looking for. I wouldn't consider this an everyday pre, because you know I consider an everyday pre something that you can take every day, 7 days a week. And the reason why is because there's 350 milligrams of caffeine, and that all depends on your tolerance. But if you train 5 days a week and you take a pre 5 days a week, this is a 5 day a weeker. I think so, as long as your tolerance is okay for the 350 milligrams. But like, be careful, because if you're used to 200 milligram pre-workouts, then and you go and jump on this sucker here, you're going to feel that 350 milligrams. I'm just used to it. I know what to expect. So this is Dave. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, like the video, because it does help the channel. I do appreciate it. And thanks for stopping by and watching everything. I'm going to get back to my pull day here. Once again, iSatori MorphX5 review. We'll see you guys next time on the channel.